Most of the time when we talk about smart homes, we think about lights, cameras, or speakers. But sometimes a product does not need Wi-Fi or an app to feel modern. It just needs to remove friction from your daily routine. That is exactly where a countertop reverse osmosis filter like this DREO unit comes in. It handles water purification in a very automated way, yet without complex setup. So today we are going to look at how it works, what you actually get from it, and who it is really meant for. Let's dive in. To start with, this is a countertop reverse osmosis water filter. You do not install it under your sink, and you do not connect it to your plumbing. Instead, you place it on the counter, fill the tank, plug it in, and it starts filtering. As a result, one of the biggest barriers people have with RO systems, which is complicated installation, is no longer an issue. So if you live in a rented home, or you simply do not want to drill into cabinets, this design makes a lot of sense. In practice, it behaves more like a coffee machine than a permanent water purifier, which means you can move it anytime your setup changes. Right out of the box, setup is very straightforward. First, you remove the packaging, then rinse the tanks, fill the reservoir, and plug it in. After that, there is an initial flushing cycle where several tanks of water run through the filter before you drink from it. This step prepares the internal filter layers and clears out any loose particles that may be present from manufacturing. Once that process is complete, daily use becomes simple. You pour tap water into the top tank, and filtered water collects in the pitcher below. Since there are no complicated menus or apps to deal with, the experience stays very low effort from day one. Now, this unit uses a 7-stage reverse osmosis filtration system. In simple terms, water passes through several layers, and each layer targets a different type of impurity. Because of this layered approach, the system is rated to remove up to 99.99% of many common contaminants, including chlorine, fluoride, and heavy metals. At the core of this process is the reverse osmosis membrane. It has extremely tiny pores which block dissolved solids that normal carbon filters often let through. That is why RO water tends to taste more neutral. Instead of a strong mineral or pipe taste, you get water that feels closer to bottled water. On top of that, there is a built-in TDS display that shows total dissolved solids before and after filtration. This is useful because it lets you see the difference in real time, rather than relying only on taste or assumptions. Moving on to daily use, one of the more practical features here is the autofill pitcher. Whenever you place the pitcher back into the unit, it automatically starts refilling if the water level is low. At the same time, a sensor inside the base detects when the pitcher is full and stops the flow to prevent overflow. As a result, you do not need to think about refilling every time. You pour a glass, return the pitcher, and next time you come back, it is already full again. Over time, this small automation makes the whole experience feel more seamless and less manual. In terms of physical size, this system is fairly compact. It takes up about as much space as a medium coffee maker, so it fits on most kitchen counters without forcing you to rearrange everything. And since it does not need plumbing, you are free to place it in a living room, home office, or even a bedroom if that suits your routine better. While the unit is working, it produces a soft pump noise. It is not completely silent, yet it is quiet enough that it blends into normal household background sounds and does not become distracting. At this point, it is also important to talk about water efficiency. Reverse osmosis systems are often criticized for water waste, since traditional models can drain several liters for every liter of purified water. In this case, DREO uses a 3-to-1 pure-to-drain ratio, which means 3 parts of clean water for 1 part wastewater. So compared to older RO systems, this is more efficient. However, it still uses more water than basic carbon filters. Because of that, choosing an RO system always comes down to a trade-off between deeper filtration and higher water usage. When it comes to long-term use, the main filter is designed to last between 6 and 12 months, depending on how much water you use each day. DREO estimates that one filter can replace around 2,000 standard bottled water bottles during that period. This estimate helps put the running cost into perspective. Instead of buying and storing packs of bottled water, you refill from your tap and let the machine handle purification. Over time, that can reduce both plastic waste and recurring expenses. As for maintenance, replacing the filter is straightforward. You twist the old one out, insert a new one, and then run a short flushing cycle. The system also shows filter life on the display, so you always know when a replacement is approaching. Of course, numbers and filtration stages only matter if the water actually tastes better. In real use, reverse osmosis tends to produce water that tastes cleaner and more neutral, because many dissolved minerals are removed along with contaminants. So if you usually avoid tap water because of taste, this kind of system can change that habit. Many people find themselves drinking more water simply because it tastes more pleasant, which is an indirect benefit that does not show up in spec sheets. Even with all these advantages, there are a few limits to be aware of. Since this is an electric appliance, it needs power to operate, so it will not filter water during a power outage. In addition, the 3-liter tank and the pitcher size are best suited for 1 or 2 people. Larger households may need to refill the reservoir more often, which can become repetitive over time. Another point is that reverse osmosis removes beneficial minerals along with unwanted ones. Some users prefer that level of purity, while others enjoy the taste of mineral-rich water. So this comes down more to personal preference than a technical weakness. So when you step back and look at the bigger picture, this unit sits somewhere between a simple filter jug and a fully installed under-sink system. You get deeper filtration than basic pitchers, yet you avoid drilling, plumbing work, and permanent changes to your kitchen. At the same time, features like real-time TDS monitoring, automatic pitcher refilling, and self-cleaning cycles give it a more modern feel than traditional filters. It may not connect to apps or voice assistants, yet in everyday use, it still behaves like a thoughtful, automated kitchen device. That was all. Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you found this helpful, give it a like and subscribe for more reviews and comparisons.